You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
What is Dax, are you?
Tracking all our cars on Carvana Value Tracker on all our devices? Yes, Kristen, yes I am.
Well, I've been looking for my phone for...
In Dax's domain, we see all. So we always know what our cars are worth.
All of them?
All of them. Value surge, trucks up 3.9%.
That's a great offer.
I know. Sell?
Sell.
Track your car's value with Carvana Value Tracker today.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
I am legitimately surprised that Greg Cote, and I'm sorry to belabor this, has taken out Gary Ferman. I know we've spent too much time on it. I have been knocked over by a South Florida legend being less than respectful to somebody else who is another South Florida media legend. And I happen to really admire in this business, in this town, the survivors, the people who could get to the very end of their careers, outlasting their businesses by evolving.
Greg, what do you think the perception of you is amongst the writers? Because you seem to not have a very favorable one of many of the writers, and I'm wondering if this is just like a writer thing or if it's like a uniquely you thing, like you have problems with the Fermans, the Hydes of the world. Like, is this just a normal thing amongst all of you disliking each other, but also saying you respect each other? Or like, are you the one that has a problem with everyone?
Billy, I don't know where that's coming from. Dave Hyde and I are good friends. I think Did
he come to your 70th?
He was invited and couldn't make it, and he told me why. But he was invited, and I think he's a wonderful columnist. I think he's really, really
Billy,
good.
what are you accusing? Dave Hyde's not a good representation. What are you accusing Greg Cote of
I'm not
here?
accusing anyone of anything. I'm just asking the situation because I think...
You don't know whether Greg Cote is liked by his colleagues? I don't know whether
I'm wondering
he is
if
either.
they would say the same thing about you, and this is just kind of how you guys hang out. You know what I mean?
I'm not critical of anyone in this market. Not since the days of Charles Bricker have I just actively not gotten along with anybody that I fraternize with.
Chris,
Did you talk to Bricker recently?
Yeah, they were reintroduced to one another on the air.
Can you please get that for me?
Please
Please get that 40-minute segment in its entirety.
I think that this thing is the funniest prank we've ever pulled on Greg Cote.
It really is.
It was great because I legit was buying it until about halfway through.
You guys should release.
She gets a little lippy.
You guys should
It's earmarked for a supercut on the oral history.
Just release it separately. Just let somebody listen to 40 minutes of that if they have not heard Greg Cote being introduced to his old rival Charles Bricker. The thing that I wanted to theorize though with you, Chris, because I don't think you actually know your father here, and I think it insults him to not know him here, that you and your brother have taken so little interest in the thing he cares about in a career. I think that one of the reasons that he is regarding Gary Ferman as lower on the food chain than I do is because Gary Ferman was a very workmanlike writer. He was kind of like Barry Jackson, where he was nuts and bolts information. And I believe that Greg Cote thinks himself something of a poet and judges other writers only there. Who's a better writer than me, or who's a good writer, who's got touch? I think it's the thing he admires most. I'm theorizing on his behalf, but I think that's probably one of the things that he does because he really loves the craft of writing. Chris, what do you think is the worst insult you can give your father if you're writing him a nasty letter at the Herald, the way that people used to do? Like, what do you think is the single worst insult that you could give your father that would hurt him the most?
Doesn't show up to the games.
Lazy?
Yeah.
That's not your opinion.
No.
He
No,
asks
what
you,
writers
like,
might-
how would you
yeah.
hurt your dad?
I would think, like, I always see him at opening day in the playoffs. Like, that's the only time Greg shows
That's
up.
fair. That's a fair criticism.
You haven't been to the Fronton since you almost died.
That's fair.
That's by choice.
It's
I don't want
traumatic,
to.
though,
For
yeah.
me, I don't like. I was Dad.
Yeah, nobody ever breaks news on your highlight team. Why is that? Is it a tight-lipped?
We do it like Billy.
franchise?
We do it quietly.
Come
Yeah,
around
okay.
and
I think
give
the
you a
worst
scoop.
insult is that you call him a writer.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that
At
seems,
what you
That
do.
seems very specific.
Seems pretty bad.
Terrible
No,
at your job.
not-
is-
not-
yeah.
you
no,
are
no.
at your
No.
occupation will always stick.
No, because he was a reporter for a long time. I'm talking about he's making a distinction between reporter and writer, I think. I think he's making all the people he's talking about as legends at the Miami Herald were people who were they were poets.
They were great writers. And I learned a lot from all of them, including Edwin Pope, my ultimate mentor. You're a great writer. I mean, I do respect more highly people who I think are really skilled with words. I respect that more than I respect breaking a news story. I just do, which probably speaks ill of me and is a reason why they, shunted me off to be a columnist because I wasn't that good as a beat reporter.
Might be. I haven't tried my hand at really skillfully trying to write. It seems very difficult. The breaking news beat is a very difficult beat. It's all
entirely.
consuming.
No, you're right. You're right. And somebody's got to do it, and I admire people who do it well. It's very difficult, and I never had a knack for it. I was never somebody who was gonna chum up to people I was covering and become friends with them. Back in the day when I was covering teams as a beat, I did that a little bit, particularly with the Dolphins, more so than the Canes. But I just never liked it. I never liked waiting in a half-empty locker room for a 20-year-old kid to come out hoping that he might grant an interview with me. To me, that was demeaning. That was a part of journalism.
That's
I
the
didn't like.
job, though.
Yeah. Like you move past it or something.
That is, you say that's the job, but that's the distinction I'm making when I say if you say he's a reporter, he doesn't care. He was. But if you say he's a shitty writer, you've insulted him at his core because he knows he's not.
Right, and I know better, but it still would hurt to hear it.
I'm sorry, Tony. The people kind of decided, though, in terms of public lore, the breaking news people have it.
Mm-hmm.
The great age of columnists kind of went by the wayside
Right.
with newspapers having happened what happened.
Yeah, now we all have podcasts like the Greg Cote Show, but
Who's on this week?
But I'm going to argue that the columnist should be more coveted than he or she ever was, for the simple reason that news is breaking everywhere now. Udonis Haslem might break news. Somebody in a tweet, some athlete in a tweet might break news. It's not just coming from mainstream media anymore. And so the columnists that you enjoy reading, who can make you smile, make you laugh, make you think, I think there's a value there that is beyond breaking news, in my opinion. Then again, I have a vested interest.
Greg, I'm absolutely 100% in agreement with you. And all respect to Gary Ferman, that's his name? Yeah. I just learned about Gary Ferman today. I had no idea who Gary Ferman was, obviously, but I come from a different generation of Miami Herald writers. I have a specific way that I know who a Miami Herald legend is. Dan, you're a Miami Herald legend, clearly, obviously. Greg Cote, you also. The way that I know.
But if Ferman was here, what would you say to him?
I'd give him the same thing, right? I'd tell him exactly what I'm going to tell you guys. When I go to Flanagan's, and I go to take a leak in the urinal.
My dad's face.
If your face stares back at my hog,
Furman's name has been there, but not his face.
I've never
maybe
seen
on a
his face.
Saturday morning,
Okay.
maybe on a
I've
Saturday
never
morning
seen
with a
Furman's
college
face
football notes
staring at
column.
my hog
This
at
is
the
the
urinal.
standard.
I get my dad's face like photoed to me like once a week.
Staring?
Somebody at Flanagan's.
Exactly.
That
right.
is the standard. Can you imagine? I want all of you, Chris most of all, to fully absorb what your father's legacy is.
It's weird for me when I'm there.
Staring at my hog.
Flanagan's bathroom.
I've seen it before.
Over the urinal. Look, that's a back in my day. Back in my day, you'd put a newspaper over a urinal and somebody knew what that meant. That meant that columnist mattered in this town.
Nowadays, it might be the column from last week. You know, might not be up to date, but it's going to be there.
Braves, Tigers, split squad.
Oh, baseball's back.
12-8.
Tis the season.
Tony, that is excellent work by you. That is the gold standard for where journalism matters. Over the urinal. Put it on the poll, Juju, at Batard Show. Is over the urinal at Flanagan's the highest journalism standard?
In closing, the only issue that I have with Gary Ferman
Stop!
is that he took out Peter Ariza's reporting, which was credible for several weeks. This was an airtight job of reporting by Kane's Insight. To come out and say that it's untrue when you're the person that reported John Gruden to Miami, not me, is not a great look.
Okay, enough, please. And it's my fault. I know it's my fault.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike. And look, it's been an exhausting couple of weeks. Even on the show, there's all sorts of debate. Which sport takes it seriously enough? Where's the effort? Let me tell you something. As long as I'm sitting down on the couch and I have a beautiful white can of Miller Lite in my hand, I'm good. I make any sports time a Miller time, and it's a perfect supplement because Miller Lite makes all the moments better with great tasting light beer for people like you and me who love beer. It's always the perfect time for friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. The taste that you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. It has simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the iconic golden color that we all know and love. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/stand to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Batard.
You don't remember the idea for
I
a
was
home
probably
run
like,
call?
that kind of thing. Something.
Okay, no, the home run call was that kind of swing, that kind of thing.
Stugotz.
Oh, it's a good call.
Thank you. And plus, it doesn't matter who's hitting it. Like, you're not tailoring it to a particular
Correct.
name. You know, all that jazz. You know, you don't got to do that. You just
Oh, that would be a
generic
great call.
Up,
that
up, and
kind of
away.
swing, that kind of thing.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Let's move on to something I did not think we'd be discussing in 2025. AROD winning again. Just AROD always in the middle and the center of some strange sort of fame currency that, look, man, this is hard to do. And I will tell you that I've had a conversation with AROD about dating Madonna and having the conversations with Madonna about how you keep yourself relevant and growing through fame as old people become discarded. AROD's ability to be in the center of things and now really climb into ownership in a place that has him making a half-court shot. Is he wearing a suit in this clip? Because he's almost always wearing a suit, and there it is.
Bank.
Yeah,
This also,
that's good form.
by the way, for clarification, this was at Bucknell because he, I believe, had like a meeting or a speaking engagement there. So, like, this isn't even the basketball team that he owns. This is just, he was randomly at Bucknell, and he was taking shots on behalf of scholarships for a student.
You can make the argument with not get a lot of rebuttal that AROD is the biggest and most important athlete in the history of South Florida. Like, and you know, relevant since he was 17 years old and still climbing into ownership in power brokering ways because he profited, made a ton of money, and cheated and resurrected himself after the cheating, which is just nuts to me.
You're talking about like from South Florida.
Yeah, like homegrown.
Homegrown.
Yeah, I'm just talking about most relevant athletes in the history of this
Canseco?
market. Where you,
Dwayne Wade, duh.
if you put at the, but Dwayne Wade was.
We raised him.
Well, AROD
This
hasn't
is
played,
home. He'd
hasn't
never
played
leave.
down here, so
It matters that you're from here, does it not?
Yes.
Yeah, it matters.
it doesn't matter as much though as playing for a team down here, right?
Yeah, like if we raised someone and all they're playing was in high school and then they did all of their winning elsewhere, who cares?
I wouldn't say who cares, but to Billy's point, it's that's why I put a little asterisk by calling him the most influential.
Well, but wait a minute. What's the asterisk that you're doing? Because by your standard, then Mike Lowell would be more relevant locally because he went from somebody who won a championship here,
right,
for this region and being from this region, than AROD, who wants to be about this region so much that he pays millions of dollars to put his name on the college baseball stadium, wants to be known as from the hood in Kendall, and is somebody who is trying to imprint South Florida for the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's proudly from here. You can't say that about Dwayne Wade.
All right, the guidelines are you have to be born here, correct?
Not born here necessarily, but just your athletic prime.
Because A-Rod wasn't born here.
We saw you grow up. We saw you grow up. We saw you in our high schools. We saw you in 8th grade.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
were whispering
High school,
about you in the streets.
I've got a good one that plays a lot of different categories. Frank Gore.
It's a good one.
Yes.
Played high school, played college.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer,
pro.
but when I say to you, I'm sorry, is not something that who's second place
Oh, Lamar
here?
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Two-time MVP.
South Florida.
What was that sound, Billy?
Well, I mean, we're still trying to figure out the rules. If they didn't play here professionally, then is that part of it or is it not part of it? Jose Canseco never played here.
The rules are you from here? And then what did you do? And you guys are saying you have to have won in Miami, which would disqualify A-Rod.
Not the Tri-County area. We're not talking about Palm Beach or Broward. We're
What if
talking
you-
straight up Miami?
What if you live here on your spare time
Yeah.
No.
while
Good
you're
point.
doing the winning elsewhere, like the
No.
Williams sisters?
Okay.
How about Mike Lowell?
I already said that.
What?
You don't want Tony.
Aaron Rodgers?
Tony, God damn it.
Okay. The Rock is a good one.
The
Yeah,
Rock
what about
is a
The
great
Rock?
one. How about
Even
The
though that
Rock?
was
Yes,
confusing.
Dwayne Johnson.
Did it at the U.
Yeah. Oh.
National champion.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for not listening.
FIU baseball matters.
Get out of here.
That's
I
what
already
I've been
said
trying to
that.
tell anyone that'll listen.
Mike Lowell's a good one.
Said Mike Lowell.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Mike Lowell denied first ballot entry
Wow.
into the new made-up Marlins Hall of Fame.
Lebatard, Mike Lowell doesn't matter.
I think he's mad at our show.
He is.
Our show or you?
No, he's mad at me.
I think Mike
What'd you
Lowell
do
is
to him?
mad.
There's like a 15-year-long grudge. He didn't find something. I was like, you weren't that great defensively at second base. He's like, you know what? Blood feud forever.
At third base.
Yeah.
No. I criticized his ability to play second base because he was an emergency second baseman during a season, and he took it really personally, which I have apologized
I don't
for.
want
There's probably
feud
more
with
to it
Mike.
than this.
Okay,
There
it
has
is.
to be more
No.
to
That was
than
it.
this.
That was it. He's like, I'll take crap talk from you, Lebatard, but Mike, no way. And that's pretty much where we left it.
Okay, Mike Lowell had a problem with us perpetually undermining how good of an athlete he was by making fun of him, a number of different things, one of which is we all thought we could beat him in a foot race. And so I think
Him running down the first base line was always fun to watch.
yeah, but again, we can set up a race between you and Mike Lowell now. Mike, I don't want to feud with Mike Lowell or Gary Ferman.
Well, I'm good with Gary. I'm good with feuding with Gary. Mike Lowell, I've apologized, and if he doesn't want to accept it, I'm sorry. Mike, for the record, I'm sorry I said you played with a frying pan in your hand. We actually Googled it. Your defensive metrics were really good. It was just odd at that stage in your career to watch you at second base. I thought we were all having fun. You clearly were, and I'm sorry again.
Okay, it's just I don't want to feud with anybody else today.
I'd like to see Mike Lowell race Gary Ferman for charity.
Okay, we'll set that up shortly. I'm sure we'll get people to come out by the thousands. Thank you
Who's
for a
more
terrible
upset with
idea.
us, do you think, today?
I don't want to do this anymore. Let's move on to other subjects. Over the weekend, I really did, and you guys had to have found this funny. And for the people listening who may not be familiar with what is just a majestically silly rule, the New York Yankees since the 1970s have just sort of proudly been, you'll not wear facial hair on our watch. Not over the dead body of George Steinbrenner, we're going to be a well-groomed beard allergic team, no facial hair. For the New York Yankees, for Jeff Passan to write a long story this weekend, because only the most important stories that are culture shifting get the Jeff Passan treatment. For Jeff Passan to write a long story about how monumental it is that 50 years after Steinbrenner implemented, the New York Yankees are now willing to allow their players to wear only a well-groomed beard. And this being some sort of victory for America, progress, that the New York Yankees are embracing facial hair, is one of the comically ridiculous, wonderful stories I've ever seen reported on a weekend in sports.
Dan, take the victories when you can get them, all right? This is progress.
Udonis Haslem.
Yes.
Greg, don't get distracted by the fact that Billy's doing his own show there.
Yeah,
Just go ahead and refer to whatever it is that I was talking about.
That was a good comment.
Yes, don't get distracted by Billy purposely trying to stop the show in its tracks that way.
No, he's right about UD.
Trying to help.
Thank you.
It's huge news mainly because it's the New York Yankees and because the no beard rule was so archaic. It's nice to see the Yankees step gingerly into the 21st century because the old rule was straight out of 1956. It's ridiculous. And I think what's happening here is the Yankees realize that in an age where the coveted free agent is getting a couple of $500 million offers, maybe the tiebreaker on that offer is going to be, you know what? I've had a beard my whole life. I ain't shaving a beard.
I don't think there's a person that's turned down $200 million for the Yankees over facial hair yet.
Well, what if that's the tiebreaker, though? What if he's got two $200 million
This
offers?
is wonderful to think about. Look at Chris Cote agreeing with that.
I just think my dad's right. If it's the money similar, it could come down to, I prefer to have a beard.
It's not even prefer to have a beard. I prefer to work for an organization that doesn't care whether or not I have a beard. Do I really want to be working for people who are that interested in my grooming?
Amanda Nunes.
Ooh.
The idea of that as a story, though, you're saying it's huge news, Greg. That's ridiculous.
It's huge news because it's New York and because of the rule was so outdated.
I understand that it is news. It's just I don't understand how in 2025 anybody can be okay with an employer saying we're not good with a well-groomed beard. Like, you cannot have facial hair. And then furthermore, go look at what Goose Gossage had on his face. I don't know what that was. He was allowed to wear facial hair.
Mustaches are good, though.
Yeah, mustaches.
But that was not a mustache. Look at what Goose Gossage had. That was more than a mustache.
You can have
Reggie
a mustache.
Jackson.
They established that you could have a mustache that was well groomed with the Yankees.
But
Giambi tried it out a little
Goose
bit.
Gossage was pushing it. He was right between mustache and beard. He was
Mustaches were socially acceptable.
Right?
Do you want to hear this sound of Hal talking about it? Because it's funny to hear him. He's just like, these kids these days, they like their beards.
You know, our new vice president has a beard. Members of Congress have a beard. The list goes on and on and on in this country and in this world. It is a part of who these younger men are. It's a part of their character. It's a part of their persona. I did make the decision that the policy that was in place was outdated. And given how important it is to that generation, and given that it is the norm in this world today, that it was somewhat unreasonable.
Wow. Hal feels like a pioneer in these conservative times, like boldly going out there, progressively saying, I think a beard shows you a man's character.
Yeah.
These young people today, they're making artistic statements with their beards.
There's members of Congress with beards.
Imagine that.
It is a part of who these younger men are. It's a part of their character.
Brian Wilson and David Price both voiced concerns about the facial hair policy and not going to the Yankees. Now,
there you go.
Probably dodged a bullet with not signing Brian Wilson long term, right? That was
he
a
had
fun
the world
flash
by
in
the
the pan.
balls,
Yeah,
though.
but I mean, what do you give that guy? And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, now we're stuck with him for a while.
But would that be a well-groomed beard? Because what Brian Wilson's would be illegal by Yankee standards. They would be the judges of what would be well-groomed.
It was incredibly well groomed. For a longer beard, it was perfect.
But what I'm guessing, you guys, everyone here, correct me, that if the Yankees, and whatever was the height of this ridiculous movement of no facial hair, if a Yankee of some sort had worn a cartoonishly James Harden beard, that would be against the principles of what it is the Yankees were saying that a man could show of his character and personality on his face.
No.
That would be too much character.
No. That's well-groomed.
I disagree.
That's well-groomed. What's not well-groomed is, Keanu Reeves, anytime you see him do an interview, and it's all patchy. Yeah. Jason Worth, less well-groomed. But, Brian Wilson, that's creme de la creme. Yeah. He established an aesthetic.
I understand what you're saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is the Yankees are trying to eradicate personality. It's not that you will come in sloppy and unprofessional. It's that the New York Yankees wanted the pinstripes to always lord above whatever it is you thought was your personal expression.
Thought it was about control.
Yeah.
Personally, especially towards the latter end when the salaries got out of whack with George Steinbrenner. I thought it became all about control.
The question is, would my dad be able to play if this picture of my dad that we have up here, would my dad have been able to play with this beard?
Okay, so this is right between, this is sort of what Goose Gossage was doing, where it's like, I don't know you're starting as a mustache, but Greg Cote is also, testing the limits of mustacheness.
The video team says this is a combination of Greg, Stugotz, and Dan.
Oh.
Chris, can you please,
save some for the rest of us?
Can you just grab for me a few sounds? First, I'd like the 22 minutes, please, of Greg Cote talking to Charles Bricker.
Oh, God.
That was on the line, and we should go through that with a fine-tooth comb. Oral history supercut.
Okay, I do want to release the 22-minute. It's one of the greatest pranks in the history of Greg Cote. Greg, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
He's right.
Why are you holding you're wielding your coffee mug?
Shaking it up.
Did you see Hal, by the way, mentions shaking things up. He also announced no more New York after losses. Oh. Now, Yankees lose. That's life. Yep.
You got to earn.
Playing.
You got to learn. You got to earn. You got to earn New York.
Mm-hmm.
But what's
spreading the news?
What is that? What do you mean? Why did they change that? What's wrong?
That's life.
That's life.
You're not going to play New York for losers. Yeah. You play That's life.
Good decision.
Exactly right.
Yep. Hal's got it going on.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Put it on the poll. Does Hal have it going on? And again, I want you guys, please, can you understand for just a second, just enjoy the idea of somebody so burdened by the Steinbrenner name, so burdened by whatever it's been to be the Yankee boss's kid in a tabloid town where dad ran this town when the Yankees were the most important thing, to come out in front of the cameras and have to nervously explain, look, I know this is crazy, what I'm about to do here, and I know that a lot of Yankee fans aren't going to like this, but I'm going to be scared as I deliver the news of, congressmen have beards, and the beard is a form of character. This is a scared child trying to play up to daddy's rules on facial hair.
Our new vice president has a beard. Members of Congress have a beard. The list goes on and on and on in this country and in this world. It is a part of who these younger men are. It's a part of their character. It's a part of their persona. I did make the decision that the policy that was in place was outdated. And given how important it is to that generation, and given that it is the norm in this world today, that it was somewhat unreasonable.
Wow. Do you understand what a waste of that man's time it is to sit in front of people and have to explain that?
What else is he doing?
No, but
the burden of growing up a Steinbrenner. Yeah, I'm sure Hal really wanted to earn his pinstripes and become president of the Yankees on his own without help from Daddy's last name.
Hal had an epiphany. He woke up one morning and said, you know what? Facial hair is a part of someone's personality. We're going to allow it. The turn of the century, baseball had a team that required full beards, flowing beards like a 19th century U.S. president, Garfield or somebody. And this
Are you
rule,
looking this up? Are you?
No.
Are you?
And this rule was just as ridiculous to not allow facial hair. It's crazy. But now, by saying it has to be a well-groomed beard, you're still opening a can of worms because now...
Yeah, who judges that?
The Yankees have a vice president in charge of judging whether your beard is well-groomed or not. It's ridiculous. You can have a beard down to your... If I'm running the club, have a beard down to your navel if you can catch a damn fly ball. Why are we judging facial hair in sports? It's crazy.
What an odd rant.
I'm an odd man.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show at Stugotz is sponsored by Liquid IV. Guys, I take a deep breath here because your boy is tired. I did not realize becoming a new father would mean that I'm just on call 24/7, right? With mom, with baby. And one of the most important things with having the lack of sleep of having a newborn is trying to stay hydrated. One thing that always helps me out and kind of gives me that extra boost is Liquid IV. Whatever your New Year's resolutions are, whatever you want to better, whatever you want to change in 2025, make sure you're going into it with extraordinary hydration from the one and only Liquid IV. Break the mold and own ritual. With just one stick and 16 ounces of water, it hydrates you better than with just water alone, all powered by Live Hydroscience. True to fruit flavors that keep you hydrated, like their new hydration multiplier, sugar-free raspberry lemonade. Raspberry lemonade, that one sounds delicious. Okay, a bright zero sugar flavor combining notes of ripe, freshly picked raspberries and citrusy, zesty lemon. Or my favorite, of course, we always talk about it, sugar-free lemon lime. You can find all of your favorite hydration multiplier flavors on their website. Embrace your ritual with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Dan at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code Dan, D-A-N, at liquidiv.com.
Hey there, wellness warriors. If you're like me, you've given a lot of thought to how to improve your health and wellness routine this year. I've started stretching more, do a little mindfulness, some meditation every day, try to clear my mind, make my body feel right. Take your health routine to the next level with the magic of contrast therapy. Meet our new amazing sponsor, Redwood Outdoors. They're making it easy to bring the benefits of saunas and cold plunges right to your backyard. A Redwood Outdoors backyard sauna seats 2 to 8 people, where you can relax, unwind, and enjoy all the benefits like reduced muscle tension, improved sleep, and glowing skin. And it doesn't stop there. Redwood Outdoors' invigorating cold plunge helps to boost circulation, sharpen your focus, and leave you feeling absolutely revitalized. Whether it's detoxing deeper, reducing inflammation, or connecting with loved ones in moments of peace, Redwood Outdoors has you covered. Enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors. Take advantage of special savings today. Visit redwoodoutdoors.com. Use code Dan to save $175. That's redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN, to save $175 on your order. redwoodoutdoors.com, code Dan.
Dan Le Batard.
Quiet man.
Yes.
You know, I'm a married man. I don't cheat on my wife, despite that gratuitous line back in my day.
Stugotz.
I wish you were here, my wife. I really miss her. No, I don't. That's the thing about being married. You know, you're not allowed to say, I don't miss my wife. I've been gone 2 days. I haven't been gone long enough to miss my wife. I'm sorry. I call her. I'm on the phone with her for 30 seconds. You know, what am I? Hello. All right. We'll see ya. All right. And then, you know, I'm going to see her in 2 days. How's Jumpin' Charlie? Good.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Do you have the sound of Billy doing the FIU baseball game? Speaking of odd men, Billy, you did your first. This is your first FIU baseball game. You very quietly became a broadcaster for FIU baseball out of nowhere. You have become somebody who pops up as a content factory in places quietly.
Yeah.
And you did so this weekend for FIU baseball. What's the sound that we've gathered here?
We have a couple clips from FIU baseball, and you know, if you like it, I'm going to be doing another game on Friday evening. You can check it out, ESPN Plus. That's where we're going to do it. This is me, so they had FIU baseball starters, career high was 9 strikeouts. And, you know, got off to a bit of a slow start. It's early in the season. Players on somewhat of a pitch count. So I felt pretty confident in the assessment I was about to give you.
Looks like we're not going to see his career high in strikeouts for a game at 9 unless we really start swinging and missing. Yeah. We'll see.
Another strikeout. There is number 9. In 3 2/3 innings.
We were in the second inning when I said I don't think we're going to get to 9 because, you know, we're already close to 40 pitches, and I think that there's more of a build-up to that, but it's fine. Yeah, you know, second inning, 4 strikeouts. I said 9 is going to be impossible, but no, it wasn't.
You're there for that kind of expertise, right? You're there.
My role wasn't entirely discussed. They just said, would you like to call some games? And I said yes, so I assume it was for my expertise, not, you know, for silliness like what you're about to hear.
It's his birthday on Wednesday. You guys wish him a happy birthday?
I did.
Good for you. See? It's a real friend. Of course. Not like you, Zach. Jeez. Do you know who his favorite artist is?
My birthdays. I do not.
Do you know who his favorite artist is?
I don't.
Picasso. That seems like just something you say.
Yeah.
I mean.
That's kind of difficult to get
Here
wrong,
I am thinking you were going to say a music.
I thought it was like Drake or
right.
like Future. I said, all right.
No. I mean,
what other information do they give you that?
He loves a good burger.
He doesn't.
I'll tell you that right now. Loves a good burger.
Shout out to Burble right down the street.
I don't believe that he loves Picasso. This is just respectfully to Jaden Bishop.
I guess we're going to have to ask him.
You calling me a liar?
I just want the full scoop.
I could just make stuff up and you wouldn't know the difference, right? You just assume I'm reading it from something. You want to guess his favorite artist? It's not Picasso.
Music or
That's your
painting?
hint.
Music or painting?
This one's music.
I'm going to say Bad Bunny, yeah.
It is Bad Bunny.
Let's go.
All right.
I shouldn't have told you.
Well,
maybe I'm a good teammate.
In fairness, it doesn't say musical artist; it just says artist. So he may be a fan of Bad Bunny's painting.
He took the liberty to do it as a music artist. And
Yeah.
yes, that lines up.
You think Bad Bunny paints?
I think he does it all. Whoa.
Cross to right field. It'll be pulled foul.
There is a sitcom here somewhere of broadcasters who go to work together in a booth and don't like each other.
Don't like each other? Is that what you gathered from that?
I'm.
Well, hold on. This is constructive criticism because I haven't received this yet. When I left, they said that was a lot of fun, and I said, "Okay, see you Friday." So you think they didn't like me?
Well, no, this is
because I thought you look here. There's the play-by-play guy. They brought in a former FIU baseball player to kind of, give you the ins and the outs, the nuts and bolts, if you will. So I said, well, where do I fit? So I would go through, I would watch the videos of, media day. I'd read the media guide to get facts about all the players. And then I'd find things like this person's favorite artist is Picasso. Maybe this is a helpful fact I can throw in there in the middle of the fourth inning.
But they don't trust you. They think you're lying. They don't believe you. They think you're there to cause chaos. And I wouldn't like that if I was sacred about broadcasting.
I will say this, and I don't know if I should give you all of this information beforehand, but I made sure to call Zach, the lead play-by-play guy, like 2 days before and introduce myself because I had never met either of the broadcasters before. So I called and I said, let me introduce myself to Zach in particular, just so that because Zach
was he aware of your work or no?
Well, he's a young up and comer, and I said,
so he knows you're an evil cat.
Dog.
No,
but I said let's have a nice get to know you session on the phone beforehand, so that we're not surprised, kind of by the way this may end up going, which I thought was a nice gesture on my part. If I'm going to be perfectly honest,
it is not only nice, but Tony, this is why this is a very specific, funny lane for Billy to occupy. If you're working with young broadcasters who aren't familiar with as what Mike Ryan might call what my resume suggests.
He's from Syracuse. This is a real deal broadcasting.
Well, but
Newhouse.
Okay, look, I have seen this happen too many times. Tony Kornheiser and his wackiness was not welcome around the sacredness that makes Hal Steinbrenner moan because someone's got hair on their face. The cathedral of sports, the ridiculous sports people fear of being different makes it so that you're going to be on that broadcast and they're not going to know what to make of you. The broadcasters who are taking it seriously.
You're right. Dennis Miller, same thing.
And so even if you're calling to warn them, hey, are you familiar with what it is that I do?
Not warn, just kind of a get to know you session. You know what I mean? It's because it's awkward if you just go on the air first time you meet someone and you're just kind of, which is basically what happened. So I wanted to,
I think
have a
more
call
more awkward than the awkward of going on the air without having worked together before is the specialty of awkward that you have, where you're purposely going for the awkward. Yes, where the broadcasters are taking their job seriously. And you're finding funny.
Dude, I spent 2 hours reading a media guide and watching videos of media day.
You're very
take
well.
It seriously.
No, you're very well prepared.
Mike caught me in the middle of a Zoom with the opposing Delaware baseball coach on Tuesday in the middle of the show.
I kicked him on the shin.
He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, Delaware baseball coach is here. I need to know what's going on with the Blue Ducks.
Hens, the blue hens.
Well, they're gone. I don't need to worry about them anymore. On to Mary Mack.
Wow, he does prepare. But I think what Dan's suggesting is that you do have a bit of a bit.
Bit?
Yeah.
I want two strangers in the booth. I think that'd be great chemistry.
I'm telling you that there is I would love to read something that is scripted about broadcasters being awkward around each other because they're trying to remain professional, but they don't actually have chemistry or know each other. Billy going to these broadcasts and doing FIU baseball and, making fun of the construct while inside of the construct while pretending he's not, and also getting on the pre-call with the Delaware
in the middle of the show was wild.
But you were interviewing PK Subban. Like, what am I? You guys are ranking the hottest black men. Like, I thought I was fine at the time to hear what the Delaware baseball coach had to say.
It went beyond the Subban interview.
It went a little longer than I thought. I'm going to be honest with you.
Mike, you just
thankfully Coach Whitten. We had our Thursday.
No, he self-snitched. I would have never revealed that he was talking to the manager of the Delaware Blue Hens.
But during the show, that I didn't know.
There was one time I was in your headphones. Don't go to Billy just yet. I can't say why.
It was like a 15-minute chat. You know what I mean? We had to talk about the players.
Yeah, you don't turn down that chance.
Exactly right.
When I didn't. A chance to interview the Delaware Blue Hens manager.
Yeah. How many times have you guys done that?
I have not.
Exactly.
I was doing a lot of.
I did wave hello.
Maine. I did a lot of Maine black bear.
The black bear. The black bears. Yeah.
Good squad.
Yes. So what you're telling me, if I'm to understand correctly, is that me going on there and me doing research beforehand, where I get fun facts about the different players in a clip that maybe we'll play here, possibly Chris Cote, maybe we'll play here. What you're saying to me is that if I'm there and I'm doing the research where I find out the biggest fears of the baseball players and I'm sharing that in like the 5th inning of the 7th game of the season, that this is a problem of sorts and this is a bit and not me doing my job?
He's a grad student out of Key West. Yeah. Worst fear is the dark or huge birds. Hopefully the birds here won't spook him.
Hopefully the birds don't scare him too
Which
bad.
do you think scares him more? Because the media guide says dark or huge birds.
Crusted down the line foul. That's a great question.
I'd say it's more the huge birds.
Yeah, I mean, night games would be a problem.
Huge birds? Was that the description?
Dark
Okay.
or huge birds.
I would say huge.
I'm going to agree with Rhino there.
Yeah.
I will tell the audience, and this is a Guillermo Mafia that is very strong, if you believe Billy to be the greatest of all the characters in the history of this show. The idea that Billy would spend any time listening to the droning of the manager of the Delaware Blue Hens during our show, just so that he could go make the joke of I'm prepared in the event anyone asks me a Blue Hen managerial question. So I can go to, in the pre-interview we talked to Skip, and he said X, Y, and Z, but Billy is going to great lengths to broadcast in the small lanes that these serious broadcasters will afford him.
I was, taking my time with Coach Mamula, hear what he had to say about the Blue Hens, and, we learned some things.
Someone has to work on their breathing, though, in there.
There were some slurping sounds as well.
That's a lot of sounds in that booth, by the way.
There was a bit of slurping in there, yes.
Well, it's a TV broadcast, so, it's primarily visual.
Did you enjoy yourself? Were you nervous? Working with new people? What's the worst part of it? Working with new people or collaborating with new people or just doing something for the first time?
A little bit of all of it. It's difficult to build a rapport with people that you haven't worked with before. So hopefully the next one, goes a little better than the last one. And that's just the goal. Just keep it moving, keep it talking baseball, keep it about the players and the game, and that's it.
Billy,
have people tune in to watch some.
I have some advice
Panthers
for you.
football. Oh, great!
Go watch the Alex Solana broadcast. Those are so much better. Whoa. Just take some notes from Alex and then just redo it on your end because he comes prepared. He comes ready to go. He's got his hands going. And Billy, you got to bring up Picasso. I mean, after the media stuff is done, what are you going to do?
The Picasso note is a good one. When the
what is that?
Solana.
Yeah. What is this exactly? Whoa. What's happening?
I just saw his broadcast. Very professional.
Really, you watched the entire broadcast?
He came in a suit. You didn't show up in a suit.
I don't know what he went in a shoot for. He wasn't on camera. So going in a suit is just
I don't care what he came in.
Yeah. What is this business that we're doing now?
I can't believe Tony took you out with
He's
Solana.
an ingrate.
I can't believe he just did that. That is the bravest.
You're not going to turn this
Tony
broadcast team against each other. I'm going to tell you that right now. There may be a number of us, but we're strong. We're Panther strong, and we're not going to be broken apart by the likes of you who went to the school and is running around with a whatever the
Confirmed.
Pause up.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike, and look, it's been an exhausting couple of weeks. Even on the show, there's all sorts of debate. Which sport takes it seriously enough? Where's the effort? Let me tell you something. As long as I'm sitting down on the couch and I have a beautiful white can of Miller Lite in my hand, I'm good. I make any sports time a Miller time, and it's a perfect supplement because Miller Lite makes all the moments better with great-tasting light beer for people like you and me who love beer. It's always the perfect time for friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. The taste that you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. It has simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and the iconic golden color that we all know and love. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/stand to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey there, wellness warriors. If you're like me, you've given a lot of thought to how to improve your health and wellness routine this year. I've started stretching more, do a little mindfulness and meditation every day, try to clear my mind, make my body feel right. Take your health routine to the next level with the magic of contrast therapy. Meet our new amazing sponsor, Redwood Outdoors. They're making it easy to bring the benefits of saunas and cold plunges right to your backyard. A Redwood Outdoors backyard sauna seats 2 to 8 people, where you can relax, unwind, and enjoy all the benefits like reduced muscle tension, improved sleep, and glowing skin. And it doesn't stop there. Redwood Outdoors' invigorating cold plunge helps to boost circulation, sharpen your focus, and leave you feeling absolutely revitalized. Whether it's detoxing deeper, reducing inflammation, or connecting with loved ones in moments of peace, Redwood Outdoors has you covered. Enhance your physical and mental wellness routines with Redwood Outdoors. Take advantage of special savings today. Visit redwoodoutdoors.com. Use code DAN to save $175. That's redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN to save $175 on your order. redwoodoutdoors.com, code DAN.